I take my tea with oat milk and no sugar.
I am actually not a tea person. I prefer a hot chocolate with soya milk.
Hi, I'm Lucy, and at Trinity Laban I teach on the Centre for Advanced Training. I'm the lead teacher, and that means that I teach contemporary technique and creative, and I also help organise the programme along with the team, and I also teach on the foundation programme as well.
Hi, I'm André Fabian Francis. I also teach on the TLCAT programme. I am a contemporary technique teacher and a creative teacher.
Yeah, so where shall we start with the other types of work?
Oh, it just goes on, doesn't it? I also work in musical theatre, so I do a lot of big commercial productions. I've been in The Lion King, I've done Wicked, I'm going to do Joseph at the Palladium this summer, 2021. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I've always taught, but also been involved in contemporary dance performance and creating dance as well. So yeah, currently I teach at some other institutions, and in the past have taken part in site-specific performance, outdoor performance, and made some of my own work as well. Well, actually, we did work together.
I was going to say that one as well. How crazy.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, that is quite
that's
crazy.
mental.
So we were both in the closing
ceremony.
ceremony of the Olympics, but we didn't know each other at the time.
No.
And then we recently started to work together starting in September.
Yes.
And André, you found a photo.
Well, when I met Lucy, I was like, I recognise you. I don't know where I recognise you. I'm quite good with faces. So I saw Lucy and I was like, I recognise you from somewhere and I don't know where it is, but I know that I've met you before. And then I was like looking through my Facebook photos and I was like, there's Lucy. But yeah, and then I sent it to Lucy like, oh my gosh, Lucy, look at this. I knew you from somewhere.
Yeah, and that was my only ever commercial dance job role, so I was very proud that someone was there to witness that moment.
She
so
was
that
there
was
and
quite
she was
a proud
fantastic.
moment.
That was definitely one of them. Also, working more in commercial theatre, the first time I did Circle of Life at Lion King was great. And also my first night, I was the ribbon boy in Wicked. So my first night doing the ribbon was stunning. They're career highlights, I think.
Yeah, I think one highlight was getting like my first paid commission for my own work, after having made like some work for free and tried to share it as much as possible, and then to write an application and to get that funding was really great. And yeah, I really enjoy working outdoors actually, and so those, not a specific highlight, but just that moment where you're dancing and you're performing, but you're actually very close to people and you can kind of connect with them and bring them into the performance.
Can I add another one as well? A career highlight for me teaching-wise has been coming back to the CAT programme. So I did the CAT programme at the place, and Natalie, the programme manager for Trinity Laban CAT, was one of my teachers. So it's kind of been like a full circle to be a student on one of the CAT programmes and now be a teacher. So that's also a highlight for me. Oh, that's always a hard question, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
I mean, I guess that it's kind of lucky in a way that we don't know the answer. Maybe it means that we've always felt like, oh, this is what I do, like I love doing this, I don't need to question it or think about it. Because often if you talk to people about, when they're choosing what to do, that can be quite a hard thing, but I feel like I've never had to choose what to do. This is just what I've always loved to do. which is kind of going around the answer, not really answering the question.
What Lucy said. I think I'm like a combination of lots of my previous teachers. I'd say firm but fair. It just depends. I think it depends on the class, depends on the students. Like some classes need more, a lot more structure and militancy, should I say, than other classes need more freedom and more time for processing. So I guess it depends on the group that's in front of me, but I would definitely say I'm firm but fair. If you're putting in the work, it's great. If you're not, we're going to have some work to do, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it depends who's in the room as to how I will teach, like maybe similar to your more structure, less structure, but in a different way. So I can work a lot with improvisation and thinking about your body, thinking about ideas to do with dance, and let's all explore that in your own way. And I can also be really specific and create set material and like get into the nitty gritty of what we're doing and being particular. So I guess there's a similar spectrum. Maybe we just describe it differently, or maybe it is quite different for both of us. I think it's true about influences of other teachers though. And I think if you meet teachers you've had in the past and like you see that they've evolved, it like encourages you to like, oh, stay creative in your teaching, change it up a bit, don't always rely on what you've done before. You can be just as creative as a teacher as you can as a performer or a choreographer.
I think also working on that spectrum, I like to focus on what can you do, because dancers, we're athletes, so sometimes something hurts, but you've got the other one. So use what you can. And also I think there's such an emphasis on like what Lucy said, like reading the room, of like using the body that you have, because when you use the body that you have, I think you develop faster than using someone else's body that's not yours. Like we'd all love to be able to like jump and turn like Carlos Acosta and have feet like Darcy Russell and legs like Sylvia Guillem. Like we'd all love that, but we don't all have that, and that's okay. So we have to really use what we have and use it to our best.
Yeah, and probably like as a teacher we kind of create the environment a bit for students to do that, because we really want to be clear. Like you say, we don't expect you to all be the same, or like in my teaching I don't expect you to all be the same, or to all develop at the same rate, or to all think the same things. Like life is going to be much more interesting if we all, like you say, use our bodies, use our own minds, like give our thoughts and kind of celebrate that, I guess, rather than try and get rid of it or conform to something. To come as yourself maybe, and to come and show us that you enjoy moving and dancing, and that we know that there's lots of young people that enjoy that for different reasons, or move in a different way, or have different experiences. So I guess the first bit of advice is, come as yourself, show us that you love to move, and that you'd like to do more of it, and that's why you want to come on the programme.
I'd 100% agree with everything Lucy's saying, and I'd also add on that it's the Centre for Advanced Training. So know that I think our intention as teachers is to take you to that next level. Like wherever you come at, we are going to work with you so that you go to that next level and you become the new hopeful, hopefully the new trailblazers, the next set of the great dance artists in whatever sense that is, whether that's in performing, in teaching, in dance education, dance science, whatever that realm is, that we're going to give you tools so wherever you're going to go, they're going to be useful.
Yeah, and within the CAT programme, there's a lot going on. So you have contemporary technique, ballet, creative, there's an element we call performance enhancement, which is about learning about your body, So it's really, you know, you get a lot of time to get stuck in, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's that level of, we want to challenge you, we want to support you, but you can also think, oh yeah, I love that part of CAT, or I really want to develop that aspect of myself. And you have the chance, yeah, to push yourself in lots of different areas. So one way that we create links with the dance profession is through part of the year that we call professional projects. So that means that in an Easter intensive and at some points during the summer term, everybody gets to work with a guest choreographer. And so that will be a professional choreographer who's working in contemporary dance, and there'll be a big range of styles across that. So there might be fusion artists who use a dance style with contemporary dance. There might be some that are more narrative or theatrical. There might be some that are really about movement, like pure movement. And so depending on how long you're on the programme, you could work with up to 5 different professional choreographers on your time in the programme. And it's really likely that then if you choose to go on and train in dance, that you will meet those people again, or that experience will stand you in really good stead for auditions and knowing about like a big range of companies.
Yeah, and I think that the CAT faculty has such great connections with the dance industry, as many of the teachers are still in the dance industry. So when you've got those names on your CV going forward, someone will be like, oh, you've worked with this person. I know them because I did that. And it's a conversation starter as well, which is great. You want to be having exchanges with people wherever you're going. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think not all people that come on CAT decide to go on to become professional dancers, which we understand, and that doesn't affect their training or their time on CAT at all. But for those who do go on to train, then they may again meet their teachers from CAT, because they will teach in the contemporary dance conservatoires, in other performing arts schools. And so, you know, that I think that's quite a nice continuation of their training and their journey, and really feeling from a young age that you belong to this dance industry, and you can make a statement and you can make your way in the industry.